Welcome everyone, welcome to my craft room. What do I have for you today? Let's make a spring into summer garden wreath. Before we get started, I just want to welcome you. If you're new here at FAM, my name is Rebecca. I do a lot of thrift with me and home decorating. Come along with me as I look for items to flip. I hope you consider subscribing to my channel, and if you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. If you happen to be new here, my name is Rebecca. Welcome. What I have for you today is I have ordered this about a year ago to make a door wreath for the spring. However, time got away from me, and so here I am. And I'm going to share this process with you. This floral garden 18-inch ring, this came from the Dollar Tree. These little flowers I got from the Dollar Tree. I may or may not use them. These are Dollar Tree items, and some reason I kept losing them and picking up more, so I don't know how many of those I will use. I also ordered, or I didn't order it, I picked this up from the Dollar Tree. This is just some eucalyptus stem that I had on hand. I found, and I thought, oh, it's a perfect green. Let's add that. I have some floral wire that I got from the Dollar Tree also that I will be using today. This little watering can came from Hobby Lobby. It was $2.99. I'm sure it was 50% off at the time I purchased it. Okay, I got little sign, Garden Market. This is really cute. It is that MDF board, so just in case I put it on the outside, I want to take this out to the shop and spray paint it with a couple of coats of clear poly so no moisture gets in there and it starts buckling. This is just too pretty. I love the color of this green. This came from, I think the online site is Trending Tree, and I got that on clearance, as well as the fabric mesh, and I don't know how much of that I will use. I know I will use this one as a base. And then this one, I also got some of their ribbon, beautiful ribbon. And this was probably on sale or clearance. So anyway, I do love those colors, and I'm going to make some little bows to go in there as well. Now, I also almost forgot to tell you, I have some of these green zip ties, and I'll cut these all in half to be about this size. This is probably all I'm going to need, so I'm going to cut these in half. You could use brown or green, but I had green on hand, so I thought I'd stay with the same color. I also have some scissors to go along with this, so let's just go ahead and get started with this. Okay guys, one of the first things that I want to do, I'm going to clear this off, but I want to go ahead and cut these in half. If you have some wire cutters, it would be a lot easier and save your scissors, but I'm going to use what I have on hand. I don't know where my wire cutters are. I must have 20 pairs of them. I don't know. I always ask my husband and ask him what he did with them. He'll say they're exactly where you left them. So we'll go ahead and get these cut. Okay, these two items are what I'm going to start out with. So the first thing I want to do is, I sort of want to lay these out where I maybe want my mesh to meet up. And I sort of like just right here where these marks are already here. Now, I may go ahead and put these on these two and then come over here or I may do every other one. Let's put one on the bottom here. Let's get these out of the way. And then come up here on the next one and do this one at the top. Just fold them in half, and then I do a twist about. So they don't slide around. So you're not going either way. They're not going to slide down that bar, this bar, or that bar. Do another one on the inside here. Okay guys, now that I have my pipe cleaners, and so I'm wondering if I should have made them longer. I always add. Okay. Okay, I got these lined up. So this is going to be sort of a long stretch. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add some on the outside ones, because that is such a long stretch to put. So let me go ahead and, because this will be the inside. Let's go ahead and add these real quick. Like I said, those are wrapped where they're not going to move. All right, that's how I have the layout. Now guys, you may want to do this differently, you know, depending on the style of fabric or mesh that you're going to use. It may not be this wide, but this being this wide, this wreath is going to probably cover this table. And so there's even a larger frame here. Let me show it to you. This one's from Hobby Lobby. It's $3.99 back when I bought it. I don't know what they are now. It's a little bit bigger, you can tell. So if I was going to do this, I mean, that's going to bring it even further out. So let's go ahead and get started on this one. Okay, this is a 21 inch by 10 yards. I don't know if I'll need 10 yards, but what I'm going to do is I'm really going to let this roll off the table and over on the floor. And my floor is clean, guys. But what I want to do to start is I want to give about 1.5 inches, but I want to start gathering. And this is like a plastic kind of mesh on this one, guys. But I'm just going to gather it. And here is what I want to start with. So you're going to pick a corner, and this is where I'm going to start on the outside. And I'm also going to add the last one in the same one. So just stay with me. I will try to explain it as I go. Okay. Get that in as tight as you can and twist. And don't twist it so much that it'll break. Turn a little and just figure out how much of your mess that you want, how far you want it to go out. So, I mean, we can have this going way out here, you know, real fluffy. But I think I'm going to keep it a little, maybe about like that. I sort of like it gathered like that right there, instead of really fluffing way out here. So again, just gather. Go to your next one. Your next pipe cleaner. Tight and twist. I do 2 to 3 twists. And we'll come back and fluff this later. So let's just keep working. We're going to work all the way around, and I'm going to speed this up. We're going to work all the way around on all of the outside, and when I get to this last one, I'll slow it down and come back and let you know what to do. We are now at this last one. You can see where the cutoff was. And here, if I was you, I would go ahead and use a full length one of these. It looks like mine's running a little short. And I can always add to it. But go ahead and use the full length of your pipe cleaner. All right. We're going to gather the last one, and if you noticed, I had been counting about 6, and that let me know about where I wanted to go with these. So I've got this one gathered, and I'm going to take this one back into the first one that we started with and see where I'm a little short. I mean, this will work, but it's tight. That hides this extra cut back there, and then now if you want, you can go around and you can fluff and gather, and this is all towards the outside, and we're going to do some for the inside, and that's what these are for. So without cutting this, you can then come around. And I'm going to go ahead and just put this one up in here, because this is where we're going to end. And just twist. Hopefully there'll be enough room for another one. And again, we're going to do the same thing on the inside ones. And these may be a little bit longer than the 6 I was counting. I may do 8. Where this really fluffs in on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 9th one I'm gathering. And let's see how this looks. Here is the next one. That's a little too much. I'm going to go back to 6. No. You just sort of have to work with it, see what you want to add. So I'm going to keep it at the 6 on the inside too. All right, I'm going to speed this up till I come to the last one. I am now back around to the last one. I'm going to count the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th one I'm going to gather. I'm talking about the lines. Not by color, by lines. And I'm going to put this in here. Hopefully it's not going to be too tight, but it looks like it's going to be tight. Let me grab another one of these. So we just need to cut that edge off there. And I'm going to leave enough that I can tuck it in behind there. You don't want this raw edge showing, so I'm just going to tuck it in behind there. And then you can fluff if you want to fluff it. I sort of like to turn my edges under where all of my raw edges are sort of hidden. They're smooth, they're very smooth, but I like to do that. All right, and the next thing that we want to do, I'm going to keep these handy just in case I need them because I made these a little short. But the next thing that I have is this jute poly mesh, 10.5 inches by 10 yards. Probably won't need that much. This is a little bit different color. It's got a little bit more brown in it, but it's really going to brighten this up. I have this little mat. This will work out great. I really just need the ruler part of it. Because what I want to do, let's see. I'm going to do one and let's see if it's going to be enough. I believe I want these about 12 inches long. Let me go ahead and cut this one straight. Got that one. You can eyeball these guys or you can measure it, but I think I'm going to measure 12. There's two ways you can do this, and let me just show you. I'm going to go ahead and cut 3 of these. All right, there is a couple of ways that you can do your little florets. That's what I call them. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you can roll these up, gather that in your hand, take the next one, roll it up, put that in your hand, go ahead with the third. You could go ahead and put your tie on them, or you can add them to your ties. If your ties are long enough, your pipe cleaners are long enough, you can just add them in there. I cut mine too short. You know, we're not perfect, or I'm not perfect. Here is the little florets. And each place that you have one of these, you would put a floret. So, guys, there is the first one, and I have decided to put mine. You can put them in each one of these. But do you see this little opening right here? Can you see that? I'm going to go ahead and put each one of mine over that, and because I need a filler. So you just sort of have to work with it, you know, do what you think is best and fill in the open spots. And keep in mind, you do have your ribbon to put on, and you do have your little accessories to put on, and you're going to put your sign in the middle. So I do think I like these really well. So I'm going to continue with these little round florets all the way around my wreath. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so you don't have to watch it. But I used 3 for each floret, and I'm going to cut 3, and it looks like I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 to go around. I'll do 5 and then we'll look at it. When I get to the last one, I'll slow it back down and we'll talk about it. We are down to the last one right here. Although it looks like a little open spot, but I think we're going to be okay. I'll check it out and we'll look at it. But let's go ahead and do this last one. Something else I wanted to tell you, there was 2 different ways of doing this. If you don't like this raw edge, you could roll this side and then roll this side. And then you gather it and you don't have that raw edge. Now that raw edge doesn't bother me. There's going to be so much fill in that it's not going to show. But guys, these are so easy and they're so fun to make. So let's go ahead and get this last one done, and then we'll look at it and we'll see if it needs any more of these little rosettes. You can roll these as tight as you want or as loose as you want. I try to make them evenly. You can see some are a little tighter than the others. Mine is not always perfect, but sometimes and somehow it just all turns out. Go ahead and put this one on, this little spot here. I twist it on the back, twist it on down, and then I try to just twist it around some of the wire so, you know, it's not sticking out. And these wreaths are not really made for glass doors. You could put a backing on it if you wanted, but they're really made for solid doors. My door is solid, so I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like, yeah, I'm missing one right here. Can you see it? Right here. So I'm going to need one more to go in here, and then we're going to move on to the ribbon. I'm so excited. Another way you can do your florets or flowerets, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to lay this out, and you can cut it to whatever length. Since I'm going to go ahead and do a 14. I'm going to cut a 14-inch, and for this one, for this floret that goes on there, instead of the little curly cues, you just take and start gathering in the center like an accordion. And as you do a lot of these, it gets a lot quicker, you know. You take your time and enjoy it. And then what you can do, now you can also do these in layers. You could use this color and then add a different color. You could use the already multicolored ones. So here I just put my tie on it. And if you want those raw edges, you can just make sure they're down under there, and that's what it looks like. And when you add it in your wreath, this is what it looks like. So this, I almost forgot to tell you this part, and I've got some of this done. But as you can see, if you put that in there, that looks like a little flower. And you could be creative and do different colors, but I almost forgot to show you that, and I wanted to show you this one and how you can do that. You can do the little curly cues, or you can do what I call the flower topper. So this one's cute too, but I love the curly cues, so I did that on mine. You can go and fluff this, you know, move it around where you want. You might still see some of your little pipe cleaners. Go ahead and leave those, because you might can attach your ribbon in there. If not, you can just add some more of these. So let's just go ahead and let me get this last one done here. Yeah, it needs something in there. Let me get that last one done, and we'll move on to the ribbon. Look how huge this thing's turning out. But we got all of our little florets, curly cues, whatever you want to call them. And let's move on to some ribbon. Guys, I'm just doing this as I go because, you know, you can be so creative with these. You can do different colors. How would like a little beige brown look good in there? On the bows, there's about 3 different ways you can make a bow. You can make a simple bow, and I'll show you that. That has the loops with the 2 tails. That's a simple bow. That won't really work for our project. There's also the funky bow, and that is just different layers. And you could do that one, but then there is the messy bow. The messy bow, I think, is the most simplest bow. So I'm going to try to keep this at beginner's level. So I'm going to use the messy bow on this wreath. The first thing that I need to figure out is how much of my fabric is going to be seen. And do I want it to come out this way and be tied in and then come out this way? So that looks pretty good, that size. So let me do a measure. And that is almost 14 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and do 14. Okay, so I want to cut these in strips of 14. And generally you always want to do them in 3s. So let me do 3, and I'll show you the first bow, and then I'll speed this up so we can get through the process. This is a wired bow. This will make it very, very pretty. Oops, looks like I cut that one over there a little short. Not paying attention, that's what happens. Yeah, pay attention, don't cut your fingers. We'll put that aside for another day. Okay, and continue with cutting the 3. Now, when you're going to do this project, guys, and you're going to do a bunch of bows, and you know you're going to do 6 of them, you can go ahead and cut 6 times 3 would be 18. And you can go ahead and cut those all at one cut and just have them ready to go on your project. But I'm just going to show you the process of the one. Now you can do as many colors on your messy bow. I have seen some that have ribbon and a different color ribbon and lace and rope. Okay, this you want a little bit smaller coming in on the top. So I'm going to do these in a 12, and I'll lay that on top and show you so that you can see some of your other ribbon when you're doing them in layers. 3 would definitely be pretty on this. 3 colors. If I had some of this little beige to go on top here, how cute would that be? But I do have my terracotta pots that's going to bring that beige color out on my wreath, so I'm not too concerned about just having all green. I've got those cut for my messy bow. Now, your messy bow can be as thick. Like I said, you can keep adding to. If you want more of this, you know, you could cut off a little more if you wanted to. But I think once it's all gathered, it's going to turn out great. So the next step that we want to do is we want to dovetail the edges. And that's just cutting the corners like that. Neat little corners. So we're going to cut all of these. We now have 3 of these, and we have 3 of those. And if you wanted to add another color, it'd be wonderful. So I just want to gather my ribbon, just like a little accordion, right in the middle. Then you want to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to put one on each side. Take this last one and put it on the top. Hold it together and get your wire. You can use floral wires if you want. This is sort of going to be hidden, but this is what your messy bow's looking like right now at the moment. And you can fluff, you can move it around any way you want, or wait till you put it on your wreath. On my wreath, this is the first one, and I think that I want to try to put one here, one up here, and you can just see some open spots. I see an open spot over here that I want to fill, and you can just fill it up with your messy bows. Just pull it in there, tie it on the back. You're tying it onto the wire form. Just like that. There it is. Now, you can see the ribbon sort of all sticking up, but this is where you can move it around. That's what the wire ribbon, it's so nice to work with. Go ahead, I think I'm going to add 6 of these. So I'm going to speed this process up, and then we're going to move on to the accessories. I've got my little terracotta pots ready now that we're moving on to the accessories. And this little birdhouse came from the Dollar Tree. And I decided it is cute. It's cute on there, but I think it needs a little color. And I thought I had a Territorial Beige, I think it is, by, I don't know, one of these craft paints. But I do have one called Trail Tan. So I'm actually going to mix a little bit of this warm brown and this one and see what I come up with. I think it'll turn out fine. Let's see how this is all going to mix up. All right, guys, I'm just going to start putting some paint on it. I'm going to paint it all one color because I got a lot going on with my ribbon and my bows. I don't think I'm going to have to do 2 coats on this, as long as I get a good coverage. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It never has to be perfect. To me, that's what makes the homemade creations. My brush is shedding. Most of the cheap ones do that. I don't know around here, guys, if I don't fill in that little hole. These country birds. Speaking of that, I'll tell you a story that this bird has costed my husband and I hundreds of dollars in truck repairs. And little did we know that the neighbor also had some problems with it. We just found that out. But this bird was nesting, evidently nesting, building a nest under the hood or inside the engine somewhere of my husband's truck. And we're out and about one day, and we're in Danville, and we're pulling through McDonald's for a breakfast. Just a quick breakfast, and then we're going on to whatever it is we were doing for the day. And there was nobody sitting in front of us at the drive-thru, and I told my husband, I said, I smell something burning. And then we look up, and all of a sudden there's smoke rolling from the front of under the hood of the truck. And the lady just handed out our order, so we pulled off to the side. My husband opened it, and he said, I said, I got out of the truck because I didn't feel safe, the truck being on fire full of gasoline. I got out of the truck, and I said, do I need to dial 911? And he said, no. He said, I'm not sure. All of a sudden, I think it just went up in a flame, and he said, go in and get me some water. So, me, I can't run. I fast walk into McDonald's, and, I go up to the counter, and nobody's there. I yelled, I'm like, can I get some water? Our truck is on fire. Well, this lady was leaving with her 2 sons, and she had a big old, 16-ounce full of, almost full of water and ice. And she said, here, I'm fixing to throw mine out. So I grabbed it, and, I don't run, I fast walk. And the truck could have went up in flames, but I wasn't about to run, guys. There's no way I could run. My husband took the water, dumped it, you heard it sizzle. And so immediately we went by where get his truck repaired, and I think they looked at it. I mean, we could still go. It wasn't broken or anything. But yeah, come to find out, birds had been putting nesting in some of the neighbors' vehicles around here. So we had cleared a space up in the garage that we got both vehicles in the garage. But that bird, little did we know, because it costed us hundreds of dollars to repair it last year. Well, we thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't the end of it, guys. That bird or birds come back each year to build their nest. And so, yeah, this year got us on that one too. Costed us hundreds of dollars to get it repaired. A bird can really cost you some money in vehicle repairs. And once they know they can nest somewhere, they feel safe. But yeah, we gotta watch these country birds around here. And I also had a little church birdhouse out on my front porch, and some barn swallows was fighting to get in it. So my husband built a wood court to go in it. I might have to make sure that I fill this hole if I put my wreath out on the front door, because these country birds will make a home in it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story. So I'm going to let this dry and come back, and we're going to get our accessories on the wreath. The next thing we're working on is our accessories for our wreath. So I've got a couple of steps that I need to do. I like to try to lay this out to see where I want it to go. And I have my sign. I haven't taken it out and sprayed it, but I'm going to drill some little holes, and then I'm going to spray it because I want to seal those holes that I drill as well so moisture doesn't get in there if I'm going to hang this out on the porch. But I sort of want to place it where I want it to go. And I'm almost thinking I want it there in the middle. And then I've already put one on, just doing it off camera to make sure it's going to work. And I'm trying not to use any glue on this at all, because if you're in a hot weather, hot humid area like we are, and not right now, we're still in the spring and this is a spring wreath, but our temperatures do sometimes get up in the 80s, and I really didn't want any glue. I don't want it melting and running off or things falling off. So gluing it on is a simple process, but that's not how I want my wreath to last. So I have used a zip tie, and each one of the little pots have a hole. And if the hole isn't big enough, I just, took the end of my scissors and opened it up just a little. And you could do one or two things. You can paint these to match and put nothing in them, but I have some of this. This is from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. You can get some of this dry moss. And here is one that I've already done. I'll hold it up and show it to you. Okay, can you see that? And it's got the moss in it, and I didn't glue the moss in. You can if you want, if you feel confident at using some glue. But I just wrapped it around. When I put the zip tie on and wrap this around, I put the moss right under the zip tie and wrapped it around it. So it's in there. It's not going to come out unless a bird's going to come by and pick it out for its nest, which is a big possibility in this area. But I just sort of want to lay this out and know where I'm putting things. So if this goes here, let's say, here's one, here's one. Sort of like them right in the middle of my bows. Here's one, here's one. And I've got one more over here. And then I have a little watering can, but here's the problem. To put a zip tie around my watering can, you can see it. So what I want to do is I have some gray paint, and I want to paint the section that's going to be seen here, and just put a little bit of paint on that, and that way it will sort of blend right in with that. Now I also have my little birdhouse. I'm going to take and drill 2 holes in it back here and run some of the floral wire through the back of it and put it on. And then my little watering can maybe can go down there. Another thing, if you can find some of the little garden tools, and they have a little bit of a rustic look, how adorable would that be on this wreath? That would be wonderful. But let me go ahead. I also have some flowers, and I'm not sure if I want to use the flowers or not. And I could tuck them, and what I did is I took them off, and they have some wire, so I can put them through and wrap them around the wreath form without using any glue at all. And that's the whole idea. Now I may have to take some pliers and bend that around, but I want to make sure that I'm not using any glue, just using the wire. And I could put these somewhere throughout here. I do love the color. I'm going to go ahead and paint these zip ties for my watering can, and then I'm going to put it all together. Moving on our wreath, the sign has had the holes drilled on each corner. It has been sprayed twice with some poly sealer so that putting it outside is going to make it safe and it won't buckle from any kind of moisture. Now, I really wouldn't want a hard soaking rain. Any of these kind of wreaths are always best protected under a porch away from the elements, but this is what I have planned. I want to get the sign on before I add my birdhouse and my watering can. Now I can do one or two things. I have this floral wire that I can run through there and make little curly cues on the top. I also have some jute string. I don't think the hole is big enough for this. I don't know, I'll try it. And I think the jute string is got that rustic look. I'm gonna try to run that through and tie a little knot on the front of each one of these, and then use the back part to tie it onto the wreath form. I'm going to add these last items, and then I'm going to display it for you on my front door. It is, guys, hanging up on my front door in all its glory. It was so much fun to make, and it really is going with my spring decor sign on my front porch, and I'm just so happy. I really enjoy making these, and I hope that I've inspired you that it's simple enough to make your own. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. And be sure and leave me a comment and let me know if you made one of these before. So thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you in my next video. You have a great day. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.